Hey guys, it's Minnie, and I asked on Instagram recently what makeup looks people would like to see me do, and Aussie Supergirl asked us to do Jester from Critical Role. So we are going to do this the same way that I did my Bulbasaur makeup, which is with glycerin and eyeshadows. So all you need to do to start off is just get a little bit of glycerin. Either I usually put mine in the lid just so it's easier to access, and with my foundation brush I dip it into the glycerin just so that my brush is a little bit wet but not too wet. You don't want to dilute it too much because otherwise it'll be paler. And the easiest thing to do to start you off is to use a brush or something just to scrape off your eyeshadow colour so that it's easier to be picked up onto the brush. And then once we have our eyeshadow pigment and our glycerin mix onto our brush, we are pretty much just going to go ahead and cover our entire face and neck blue. Super fast mode! As you can see, as I started off, everything was a really low level of opacity along my skin. I actually really liked how this looked better for the look because it was a more natural representation of what people's skin tones actually look like. At this very moment here, I realised I had blue body paint downstairs. But I decided it was too late to go back, so I continued just building up the opacity on my face, adding more eyeshadow and less glycerin and things like that. After I was at a level where I was happy with it, I just set it all with a translucent powder. It is not necessary to throw your brush, but if it happens to you, just go with it. I am using it's called a chubby eyeshadow here, and it is actually an eyeshadow pencil of some description that is like a oily kind of texture. It is an oily metallic eyeshadow pencil that I'm just going to use all over my lid. I got this from Nicholas's mum, so thank you very much, mum, for this, and I am just going to use that along my waterline and all over my eyelids. I have really deep set eyes, so no matter how much product or anything I put on my eyelids, they pretty much just disappear. So I'm just using a Q-tip here because I was a bit of a mess and got it all over the top of my upper eyelid. So you just want to keep colouring yourself in. Even though I hadn't completely finished this eyelid yet, I was insistent on doing my eyebrows. And since everything is blue, I decided to keep them quite dark and quite naturally shaped. Just using this one to keep them pretty thick, to keep the look of more youthfulness and things, and make me look a little bit younger. Babies do not pluck their eyebrows. I very clearly need to invest in one of these in every colour because they can be used for everything. I'm going over the previous colour that I'd put on my lips because I decided that this one was a little bit better and more to the art that I was following. Once again, bringing out my eyeshadow palette, I am dipping my finger in a dark metallic blue just because I thought this one would add a little bit of extra dimension to the lips, and instead of them looking dead cold blue, it's kind of a warmer, more alive colour. What is happening here? Eyeshadows can be used for everything pretty much, so I am using this set of darker blues here to contour my face with a tiny fan brush. I'm not just going in with the sides of my cheeks, I'm actually squeezing my cheeks up into a smile to get under the apples of my cheeks to give little chubby cheeks more of a shine to shine. Then I am using a lighter metallic blue eyeshadow to use as a highlighter on my face. Using the same highly pigmented lighter blue metallic shadow, I am using that just to blend the eyeshadow pencil that we put earlier on our upper eyelids. I'm also going to add this into the inner corner of my eye because I'm going to use it as a slight highlight there as well, where it'll make my eyes appear a little bit bigger and that they won't disappear into my face. Cracking out the Kat Von D palette that I got from my friend Karina, I am using a tiny little square brush to dot the dark blue in here all over my face for freckles. If you have a smaller brush, I recommend using that, and if you have freckles on your face already, try and use those as a example of how close they need to be. Sometimes they're in little clusters, and sometimes you have darker, bigger spots that stand out on their own. Again, I'm basing this on a fan art of the character, but for the freckles I am going off a basis of using my own ones. Then I am grabbing a fan brush and just going over them to kind of dull them down a little bit. Here I have loaded my brush up with a light blue shadow, and I'm just dabbing that underneath my eyebrows to highlight the higher points of my face, and then dapping it down my nose and onto my cupid's bow. I forgot to show you the colours that I'm using, but I'm just using my fan brush again to dab a light little coating of a very earth pink eyeshadow shades onto my apples of my cheeks, just for a little blushed and cute little look. I then forgot to record again, but curl your eyelashes and add a mascara of your choice. Put on falsies if you wish. Grab your cloak, chuck on your horns, add in your ears if you have them, and that is everything. Thank you, Georgia, for these horns. I will give them back to you one day. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in a video next week. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, like and subscribe, and all that jazz.